The city-states in Sumer, in the Middle East, emerged around 3500 BCE or before the Common Era. They are believed to be the first in world history. These cities would have had tens of thousands of residents each, and as such, they had a comprehensive system for managing property, trade, and exchange. Grain was hugely important in these early civilizations as it provided stable food sources and calories. There was no going against the grain here, I can tell you. Farmers paid taxes in grains, which were stored by priests in storehouses for use by royals, priests, and nobles, which possibly later became temples, known as ziggurats. Priests often managed and kept the grain reserves and recorded their ownership. Thus emerged the earliest writing. The world's first known and named priest was a woman, Inanna, who lived around 2300 BCE. Inanna authored the oldest living surviving religious text, a hymn honoring the Sumerian goddess Inanna. Throughout the Sumerian city-states, women were permitted to be priests, but it's likely only wealthy girls attended schools and therefore got the training needed to become a priest. Thus, class greatly impacted the differences in women's lives. People married to secure stable family units. Literature and poems from the time discuss romantic and loving relationships, but these would have been uncommon matches. Mesopotamian families were most interested in the family unit and its protection, so a wealthy and healthy match would have been pursued. In times of desperation, poor families would sometimes sell their daughters into slavery or prostitution, dehumanizing them. However, these roles looked slightly different than how we may think of them today. While this placed huge restrictions on people's individual liberty and autonomy, enslaved people were often regarded more as servants and were able to earn their freedom eventually. Prostitutes did not live the so degrading life often associated with it, but instead had means for an income and sometimes would serve a spiritual role in the temples. Some women engaged in trading, especially in weaving and selling cloth, perfumery, and making incense, and midwifery. Weaving and selling cloth produced immense wealth for Mesopotamia, and temples employed thousands of women in making cloth. Women owned and ran taverns, which gave them wealth and influence in their communities. They also helped with food production, brewing beer, and wine. The role that women played in this period is exemplified by the goddess Ninkasi, the patron of beer. A poem dating back to 2100 BCE praises her role.
Ninkasi, the expert who redounds to her mother's credit. Her fermenting vat is of green lapis lazuli. Her beer cask is of refined silver and of gold. If she stands by the beer, there is joy. If she sits by the beer, there is gladness. As cupbearer, she mixes the beer, never wearying as she walks back and forth. Ninkasi, the keg at her side, on her hips. May she make my beer serving perfect.